late or on time,
Yeah.
or something else?
I mean, I don't know what I'm doing, but I know I'm doing it really, really well.
I see what you did there.
But yeah, welcome to another episode of Late Night Take 3. We are talking about Parks and Rec today. We've got a big cast of characters here today. To my whatever side James is on, we've got James. James, how's it going?
It's going good, Malcolm. Thanks for having me on. Parks and Rec is one of my favorite shows of all time, if not my favorite show of all time. So I am excited to be able to talk about it with you guys.
We've also got Matt. Matt, how's it going?
It's going very good. I'm excited. Second week in a row that I'm going to talk about one of my favorite shows. So I already talked about my favorite last week, but this one is certainly up there.
And also hiding in the corner in the dark side, but it looks like we've got Abe.
Hi, I've never seen an episode of Parks and Rec.
Wait, what?
Please tell me it's not
This
true.
is why we love Abe. This is going to be a fun episode.
It's a couple months ago, so.
And also we've got Manning here. Manning, how's it going?
Dun 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 dun. I'm ready to talk Parks and Rec. What?
Manning, that is coming together very well, I just have to say.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, but no, I am very excited to talk.
Are you ready?
I am ready to talk about Parks and Recreation because that was I binged it a couple weeks, I believe, in a college one time, and I just decided, you know what? This is not one of my favorite comedies of all time because the characters, we'll talk about it in a minute, but oh man, the characters. I'm so excited to talk.
Yeah. And last but not least, we've got Teresa. Teresa, how's it going?
It's going well. I'm excited to represent the ovaries before broveries portion of this episode. Uteruses before deuteruses.
Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. Oh, we missed it. Fuck.
No.
Me and Malcolm technically on Valentine's Day had the male version of Valentine's Day, which was we sat on here for an hour and talked about rom-coms by ourselves.
But and say that before we get into the main topic of Parks and Rec, we've got a bevy of various movie news that came out throughout the week. But I'll just read off the titles and we're going to talk about what people want to talk about. Nicolas Cage is going to be playing Joe Exotic in a scripted series of Tiger King. Taika Waititi is going to write and direct a new Star Wars movie. There's a Demolition Man 2 in the works. Ray Fiennes is going to be playing Miss Trunchbull in Netflix Matilda movie. Apparently it's the Extraction sequel. Both Peyton Reed and Robert Rodriguez tease that they are directing episodes of Mandalorian Season 2. Tom Cruise is partnering with Elon Musk to form a movie set in space.
Oh my god, this is my favorite news ever.
Kate Blanchett is in talks to play Lilith in Borderlands movie. Dwayne Johnson and Emily Blunt are going to reunite for superhero movie Ball and Chain. Neve Campbell is in talks for Scream 5. I'll scrap this one because apparently it's not true. But Disney Plus is developing a National Treasure series. Plus,
wait, that's the one that's not true, right?
No, this one.
That one is true. Oh, yes.
One,
okay.
Hey, why would he say the one that's not true? He'd be like, "Hey, let's talk about it anyway, guys, even though it's not true."
Also, and lastly, this one literally just dropped today. Temuera Morrison has joined the cast of The Mandalorian, and it's people are speculating that he's coming back as Boba Fett, which is interesting. I'm going to go to Teresa first. Teresa, anything in there speak out to you?
Well, I think he's actually going into that last one. I think he's going to be coming in as a different character or as multiple characters. Anybody else who has seen Clone Wars or Rebels?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. No, yeah, I see what you're. I was about to say.
Hundreds and hundreds of characters. He could be a nameless clone we never met before. That's Does it think about it?
Oh. Are we referring to the captain, formerly Commander Rex?
We may be.
Ah, okay.
So that's my theory.
Tamara Morris is gonna have to shave his head and then dye it blonde. I'd like to see that.
You could always
But-
CG it.
But Manning, anything in that bunch of news that speak out to you that you want to sort of put any 2 cents in?
Yes, actually. I got excited for the National Treasure news for a reason. When did that get announced, actually?
That was a couple of days ago. But
Yeah,
it-
yesterday, the day before.
yeah,
I
Didn't.
completely missed that, and I'm so sad because those movies are like I wouldn't even call them guilty pleasures. I think the first one's actually really solid, not great, but really solid, and really kind of made me love American history. So now I am just super excited to see where they're taking this. I have zero idea because I just found out right now, but I'm on board for what a series could do. And Nicolas Cage isn't coming back, I'm guessing.
Well, for the series, I think they said they're going for a younger cast, but there is a third movie being written as well, which will start the original cast on the movies. So
If we're getting like a young Indiana Jones vibe, I'd be okay with that. Like a young Nick Cage going up to like his dad. Dad, I want to steal the Declaration of Independence.
Oh, a young
Yeah.
Indiana Jones, you say, Manny?
That was intentional. I knew you were going to bring it out.
but Matt, anything you want to touch on? I know there's a lot there that you.
Yeah, well, to just get off Manning's point, originally the notion of doing a National Treasure series younger annoyed me, and then it reminds me that one of my favorite TV shows of all time is Young Indiana Jones. So it's all about if you get someone who's as good as Sean Patrick Flannery was in that show to be a young Ben Gates, then maybe. I mean, I would enjoy seeing a younger actor try to be Nick Cage. Although he's much more normal in those films. Yeah. Actually, you know what? Hey, Disney, give me a call. I could do it. I love history, okay? I could talk about it all, you know? I could do it. I got the hand gestures and everything. Yeah, my Nick Cage sounds like a drunk Elvis. I know, people. My impressions are not very good. Thank you. Yeah, Tamara Morris is very cool. Jango Fett's one of my favorite Star Wars villains. I love his portrayal as that character, so getting to have him back. And the cool thing about Boba Fett being a clone, we found out, and then of course the Clone Wars and all that, is like he could be anyone. Like he could just be some clone that we never met before, or he can be Captain Rex, or he can be Cody, or he can be Boba Fett. Like that's the cool thing. Or he could be some new character. I don't know why you would bring Tamara Morris back and not have him be like someone in relation to Jango Fett, but
Well, that's why,
Disney
because they
did,
mentioned
right?
having Ahsoka. I think that's why my mind goes to it being Rex, or how like there being a way to tie that in.
yeah, that'd be cool.
That's a
But-
solid theory right there. I didn't think about that.
Look, guys, the big news here. And I watched this on Instagram Live, and I can't believe I forgot about it. It's the fact that we were getting a Demolition Man 2. Okay? Phoenix! One of my favorite action movies of all time is Demolition Man. It's one of my favorite Stallone performances. It's one of the ones where he seemed to be having the most fun, and the way Stallone talked about it, like he seems it seems like something he's genuinely excited about. It doesn't seem they were just like, hey, Stallone, here's a paycheck. Come back and do this movie. And particularly, it did fine when it came out. So it's not even like it's a sequel to some like giant. It's not like he's doing it's not like he's doing like Rocky 7 or something. Like it's a movie that he enjoys, and I would love to see their take on the future now based on what the future's actually been and the jokes they can do, and just seeing Stallone get to play John Spartan again just makes me so giddy. Yeah. Oh man. He didn't answer my question yet, but I have a feeling one day on one of those live streams he will tell me Daylight 2 and Cliffhanger 2 are happening. That's all I want out of life. I just want to see Gabe Walker and Kit Latour back. Come on, Stallone. You can do it.
And James, anything you want to talk about in those movie news?
Yeah, I mean, haven't you seen the National Treasure movies? Everything in the city is a clue.
Yeah.
I do
Good
love that
segue.
first National Treasure movie so much. It's such a fun just romp, and it's just action packed. It's Nick Cage at his absolute Nick Cageiest, just ridiculous for no reason in most places. But it's just so great, and you have so much fun with it. And the second one is a fun sequel. It's not the best movie, but I do enjoy it.
I think Paul Denuso would say it's probably the better of the two for reasons, but
I have no qualms with anybody that enjoys that more than the first one. It's still a fun movie.
it's just Ed Harris.
Yeah, Ed Harris is great. But the thing that really gets me is more Nick Cage news, because with him being cast for this Tiger Man series, I think it's going to be amazing, but I think it's going to be train wreck amazing. It doesn't seem like very good casting for Joe Exotic. I know I have all these other things in my head that people were campaigning for, David Spade or Dax Shepard was wanting to do it, and some of these other people, and I think those would have been better cast. So I'm hoping that we might get something else, a movie out of this or something with some better casting. But I think Nick Cage will be absolutely crazy in this role. I just don't think he really fits the role so much. He doesn't look like Joe Exotic. He doesn't really have the same mannerisms, but it's Nick Cage, man, so he can do crazy.
Am I the only person here who has never watched that Netflix series? Like, I have no interest in it.
I haven't.
No
either.
interest in it whatsoever.
I went on a roller coaster with that show. After the first episode, I was like, oh my God, I have to watch all of these. And then after like 2 or 3, I was like, okay, I'm ready for this to be over. And then you get to like the last 2 episodes and it goes even weirder. And you're like, okay, now what the hell is going on?
Dude, I'm watching Matt MacGyver and Community right now, so I think I'm set on good TV to be watching. So,
well, one thing is, we literally just the craze of Tiger King just died down. Isn't it a little soon to throw a movie, or is it just the right time while they still have a little coal to the fire?
Look,
Kate
it's
McKinnon-
always a good time to get a new Nick Cage movie, and I'm going to be playing with freaking tigers.
So before the documentary dropped on Netflix, this was kind of already in the works. Kate McKinnon had kind of bought the rights to it because this was based on a podcast. Like, this whole story was, initiated there. So I think the news has now gotten bigger now that the documentary is out there, and so people have seen it and know what it is. So there's way more attention. But yeah, from what I saw, that this has been in the works long before. It's just now that everybody is aware of it, it's picking up speed.
And it's not going to get any more culturally relevant than it is right now.
Yeah.
So this is the best opportunity for them to like make the most out of it. You have to strike now while it's hot. Otherwise, everything's going to die down. You're going to have some new thing come in to take its place in the mindset of America and the world. So if they don't do it now, they're not going to do it.
Yeah, I mean, someday I'm probably going to finish watching this series. I started watching, like, I think about halfway through the first episode. I was like, why am I watching this? But I think it's the case. I think I'm probably going to end up getting curious and want to get it off my Netflix queue and just actually watch the damn thing. But I mean, Nicolas Cage is anything at this stage. Like, he could be cast as George W. Bush, and it could end up being interesting.
Oh my God, that would be
That'd
the
be a
greatest
thing.
movie ever made, Malcolm.
But I mean, but yeah, but going off that, Taika Waititi directing a Star Wars movie intrigues me because I can't wait to see what he will do with Star Wars with his own style thrown in there and all that. And also, the one that really interested me was Ray Fiennes being cast as Miss Trunchbull in the Netflix series because, and apparently it's what they're doing in the Broadway musical Matilda, which is a guy playing Miss Trunchbull. So that's going to be interesting for a whole different reason.
You spat out so many different headlines there that I completely forgot about those two.
Yeah.
And really, the Taika one is the one I'm most excited about. Seeing what Taika Waititi can bring to Star Wars is just so exciting. His style, his filmmaking, he is such a breath of fresh air. with these movies that he's making, and I've not seen a Taika Waititi movie that I've disliked. So I'm really excited what he can do with this property, especially with not being tied into the Skywalker saga. He can branch out and do one of these standalone movies that could be anything.
Yeah, and I mean it's one of those ones like there's a whole bunch of Star Wars movies in the works, because I think, as far as I know, Rian Johnson's one's still happening, and I think the Benioff and Weiss one is still out there somewhere.
Yeah,
in the works.
Well, the Taika Waititi thing, it's cool that they announced this around the time that I think it's Disney Gallery, I forget the name, but the Making of the Mandalorian series dropped. Because if you watch that first episode, like, it's very clear how big of a fan of these movies he is and how much he cares. And you saw what he did with his episodes of Mandalorian, which are great. By the way, if you're not watching that and you watch Mandalorian, watch that behind the scenes series. It's awesome.
Yeah.
I got excited when they announced that series because just the preview of it reminded me so much of Dinner for Five, the show Jon Favreau used to do.
It's one of my favorite TV shows of all time.
Yeah, I'm so mad. The first season they put out on DVD and I bought it right away, and I've been waiting 15 years to finally get the rest. But yeah, I was excited to see that, and I think Taika, especially doing a Star Wars movie, he's shown that he can write really compelling, unique characters. So, like I said, within this universe and having so much to play with, I'm really excited to see what he's able to do.
But yeah, that is the whole bunch of movie news that we actually had. So we're going to get to the main topic of Parks and Recreation, and I got this. I got this idea. This last week, I didn't plan to do back-to-back Office and Parks and Recreation, but I can. It's one of those ones I completely forgot that the reunion special was dropping that week, and I'd already planned to do the Office. Like, I made a decision on on the Office one. That's like, oh well, we'll do Parks and Recreation next week. Why not? So here we are, But we'll start off with that, actually. James, what did you think of the reunion special that they did for Parks and Rec?
I enjoyed the special, but I was left a little disappointed. I think I built it up in my head a little bit more than what it could deliver. It's obviously, they're limited with what they could do with all the screens. I thought the second half of the episode was a lot stronger when they did, At Home with Joan and Purd and things like that. The first half, when they were doing the phone tree, it felt like they were just kind of each recording it separately and then sending it in. They had it all matched up. It just didn't really feel cohesive for me. But seeing all those people together, it just makes me happy. So I was so happy just to see them all, just get to be able to talk to each other and talk to us, because I miss all of them.
Yeah. Matt, what did you think of the reunion special?
And that is the question you were asking me, and this is the answer I'm giving you, because that's the word, with Purd. I thought, I from the previews and everything, of course, when I think of a reunion special for this wouldn't be the circumstances I would have wanted, obviously, but for what it was, I do think James is correct that the second half, when they started doing more stuff that felt in line with the show, was a lot funnier. But still, it's so nice to see all these characters back, and all the actors. I will say, right off the bat, they had one of my favorite exchanges made from the show. It's just is when April and Andy are talking to Leslie, and they're like, "All right, you have to call Gary," and they're like, "All right," and they turn it off. And it's just like, do we actually have to call Gary? And Andy's just like, "We ain't fucking calling Gary." I'm just like, yes, that's April and Andy. That's what they would do. So yeah, and then of course ending with one of my favorite songs from the entire series. Because I mean, what's 5,000 times better than a candle in the wind?
5,000 candles in the wind.
I hope you brought tissues, because your eyes are about to piss tears. You nasty boy.
I have to make a point, though, that what the hell was up with Adam Scott? He looked like a ghoul. His eyes looked so big, and the hair and his cheeks looked sunken in. I didn't know what was going on there.
I just have a question. Talk about John Ralphio. Did anyone try to call that number? Anyone?
Yes.
Yes.
It didn't work.
It was the first thing I did when it popped on screen. I grabbed my phone and
I didn't bother, but you know. But you know what?
I was about to say, it's not gonna work.
I make my money the old-fashioned way. I got
was
run
really
over by
hoping it would be
a
one of
Lexus.
I was really hoping it was going to be one of those things where they put it into service and it was just an answering machine for John Ralphio.
Yeah, it's like the disaster
Fingers
artist.
crossed,
How they
but,
did that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. But Manning, what do you think of the reunion special?
I liked it. I think I echo everyone else when I said it wasn't the highest pinnacle of television, or was it the best Parks and Rec thing of all time? No, it wasn't. But it was a nice, refreshing tale to kind of go back down this memory lane. We just kind of like got on the lazy river, just kind of sit back, relax, and enjoy a little bit of memory lane that we went down. Because seeing the characters to me was the highlight, and just seeing how they played with the idea of, especially with, obviously the married couples couldn't be. You'd think they'd be in the same room, but they can't because, guys, it's not real. They aren't actually together. So they used really, yeah, sure. What I appreciated was how they played with that in the real world and combined that into the world of Parks and Rec, and it worked because Andy would lock himself in the shed. That makes perfect sense, and those interactions to me meant more than the actual story itself. The story was fine, but just the interactions each individual character had. And while the transitions were rocky and how they got there was when they were actually there talking to each other, and you just had Donna and Mr. Tom Haverford chilling out. Where was it? The Maldives? No, not where was it?
It was Bali, wasn't it?
Bali, thank you. They were just chilling out in Bali. And I was like, this is something they would do totally. They can't do it in real life, but they will do it on Zoom if they have to.
Clink.
There you go. Loved it. So
yeah. And Teresa, what do you think of the reunion special?
A lot of things similar to what other people said. So much of the magic of the show itself is the chemistry that the actors have together. And just given the circumstances, we had a modified version of that. And I think some scenes worked better than others. I agree that the second 2/3 of the show were a lot stronger once they got away from the phone tree and they started doing the more skit type scenes. But some of the stuff one of the things that stood out to me is in the finale of the series, they kind of show the montages of, what happens to people in the future. And I went back to check the timelines. And so in 2019 is when Tom says he's going to start all these restaurants. And then immediately after, it shows like 2 or 3 years later, he's completely broke because everything collapsed. And I was like, Parks knew. Because this is happening right now.
Sure.
I gotta go back and check that out.
Hey, at least we know in a couple of years we'll have Leslie Knope as governor and probably running for president. And we have positive things in the future.
And Gary's still the mayor of Pawnee.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those ones like, I know there's a lot of people sort of going back and trying to match up this and try to find if this fits in with everything in Parks and Rec.
Better than they could have imagined.
Yeah, but I mean, this is. I really did enjoy the reunion special. Like, this is one that I didn't expect, and but I'm glad that we got it because with them doing it to raise money for COVID and everything happening, and it was just a perfect thing to do. And I really did not expect that song to happen at the end. It's just one of those ones like it just caught me by surprise and just felt it was great all the same.
This reunion series also reminded me that Nick Offerman and Megan Mullally are married because I was like, at first I was like, wait a second, and I was like, oh wait, yeah, that's right, they're married. That's not
that's one of the things I was looking forward to the most about this, was seeing what sort of interaction they were going to have, because you knew that they were together, you knew something was going to happen, and I thought what they did was amazing with her just hiding out and trying to break into his house. It was fantastic.
It makes sense.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it would have been a completely missed opportunity if they didn't work in Megan as well.
I'm surprised the douche didn't show up.
Yeah, I mean it's one of those ones. Like I was reading something online when they're talking to the creators of the show. They said there was so many people they want to include. They just couldn't find.
Well, aren't Nick Kroll and like, why am I completely blanking on Amy Poehler's name? Aren't they still together?
I think they broke up.
Okay, that would make sense why.
But she was quarantining with Will Arnett because they showed pictures
yeah.
of them together because they have kids together.
I don't think it would make sense to have the MRI tech come back though.
He could have. Maybe he was also doing COVID-19 swabs. Come on.
He's reading through Twilight again.
Yeah,
That
but
was Will
No, I'm
Arnett.
thinking too many Wills in Hollywood. God damn it! It's like prisons.
Lots of Wills.
Get more names.
And I mean, it's one of those ones. Like I even like what they did with Anne and giving her a reason for why her and Chris weren't together.
And that
like,
makes so much sense with that character. That
Yep.
he'd be like, "In Perkins, you're working at the hospital.
And Perkins.
I cannot get sick. You're staying over there."
I mean, the one that I totally did not expect was it to start off with Paul.
That was great.
Yeah,
That's great.
that put a smile on my face immediately seeing Bobby Newport.
How do I put this on?
But yeah, the next question I kind of had was how did you sort of come across Parks and Rec? And I'll start with Teresa.
So I actually remember recording the very first episode when it initially premiered because I love The Office and I kind of knew it was originally supposed to be a spin-off of it and then it transformed into what it was. But so I was like, I'm going to watch this. I'll give it a chance. And I watched the first 2 episodes. I did not like them at all. I thought they were trying too hard to make her a female Michael Scott. And I'm like, this is not what I want from this show. So I left it for a while. And I think it was partway through season 3. I was talking to somebody about it and they're like, no, go back. It's really, really good now. I was like, they're like, start at the beginning of season 2 and then go from there. I was like, okay, I'm going to trust you. And I just fell in love with it. So I remember within a day or 2, I watched all of season 2 up until I think it was Andy and April's fancy party was kind of when I jumped back in. And then after that point was when I was watching every week when they aired.
Manning, how did you come across Parks and Recreation?
As I mentioned earlier, it was basically in college. It had already gone. I wasn't here last week because I've never seen The Office. I've never been something that I've been like, I know I've heard, you don't know how much that has been inundated in the pop culture sphere that I've been in, yet I've only seen clips on what YouTube recommends me. And I've only seen little bits here and there. But for Parks and Rec, somehow, some way, I decided, you know what? I just clicked play on Netflix when it was on Netflix. And I just kept going. And that's the beauty of, I think I was sick in college one day. I just decided to view it. And yeah, the best thing about season 1 is that we got season 2. That's the highest praise I can say for it. Because it is a little rougher than the rest. But once they figured out what they were going, oh man, the characters are just so likable in this weird way. They're not like, well, at the beginning, they have a little rough around the edges, but once they get into that feel, you love them all in different ways. And they become family in a way. And I just kind of grew attached to them just from just binging these 7 seasons. And it's just something I look back rather fondly because I can just look at a little clip sometimes and just be like, oh yeah, I remember that scene, and just have this biggest grin upon my face. So that's how I came around to it. Later than most people, but it still holds dear in my heart.
Matt, how did you come across Parks and Recreation?
So I actually, which surprises a lot of people because when people know my favorite show is The Office, they just kind of assume that like that parlayed immediately into Parks and Rec. But I didn't see Parks and Rec until the show was over, until 2015. And I'll never forget the reason why I watched the show was I made a Facebook post about the fact that I was like, I guess I'm one of the like 5 people who like Jurassic World. And then my buddy and me started like talking about it. I was talking about how I really liked Chris Pratt in that movie, and then also Guardians of the Galaxy. And he was like, oh, well, if you like Chris Pratt, you should check out this show Parks and Rec he was on. It's on Netflix. And I was like, okay. And I watched the first episode and I liked it a lot. And I just kind of that was during the summer, right before the start of my first year of college. Which my first year of college kind of sucked. All my friends moved away, and I was kind of alone. But I had Parks and Rec. I had the Pawnee game, so I binged through it, and it was a ton of fun. And it's just a show I just love to watch, and quote, and kind of like Manon, like it's a fun show to just kind of think about. It's similar to The Office and like Psych, where it's just like I just like thinking about moments that could just make me laugh. So yeah.
James, how did you first come across Parks and Recreation?
I don't remember which season that I actually started watching it when it was airing, because I came to it a couple years late too. I want to say that I just saw a couple reruns and I turned it into a binge, and I just had to watch more and more and more. I believe I probably started watching season 3 or season 4 is when I started watching live week to week. But it's just one of those shows that once I started watching, I just couldn't stop, and I fell in love with all of these people so much. And it's something that I've rewatched now, however many times it's been. But I just always want to watch the show. And it was on today. They had a marathon on E! This morning. I was just flipping around the channels, and I saw Parks and Rec was on, so I started watching that with commercials when it's streaming on Netflix, and I own the DVDs behind me. But I sat here watching Parks and Rec on TV for 5 hours.
I do that with The Office all the time, even though I own all the DVDs. It's on Netflix. Like, I'll still just watch it when Comedy Central has a marathon. I'll be like, well, gonna watch The Office again.
It's all right. I guess I'm watching season 7 of Parks. So I watched up until the finale and came on here with you guys. It's a good Parks.
Yeah, I also came to Parks and Rec late. I think it was about season 4. Someone told me I should check it out, so I did, and I watched it, enjoyed it, and then watched it live from there. From there, and it's there's a lot of shows I've come to late. The other one being last week's topic of The Office, but it's just one of those ones that once you start watching it, so you can't stop.
You can't.
It's like
stop.
Pringles, man. Seriously, Parks is like Pringles, and I think season 1 does have some merits. There's some good things in season 1. It is rough, but you have to remember too that they which one?
It's the dumbest thing in the world, but it just makes me laugh so much. It's when they're out campaigning for the park, and it's April and Mark and
they're
canvassing, and Tom, I think, is there too, and they're talking to one guy about the park, and he's like, and he's just like, so where's this park going to be built? And he's like, because I'm not allowed to be within 100 meters. And Mark is just like, April, stand behind me. Is there a flyer? No, it's fine. It's fine. And they're just like walking away as Mark is slowly putting himself in front of people. It just cracks me up. And then also when they come in and they're all playing Rock Band.
Yeah.
Just those two jokes, just that episode. That's probably my favorite episode of season 1 because it's the one that makes me laugh. And then also Andy at the when they're at the meeting or whatever, and the dude's like, the neighbor's like talking about, yeah, he stays up all night and he's just playing his loud music. Just like, man, you wish you were as good as me. Just those moments, yeah. And it
was one of those things where they shot the whole first season kind of as a pilot. Like they shot everything together, so they didn't really have time to see what was working and what wasn't.
I think the interesting thing people don't talk about with Greg Daniels and everything is like, season 1 of The Office was also, and the thing about that wasn't, great as later seasons because they were trying to figure out, should they be a part of the BBC series? Should they be their own thing? And I think Parks and Rec had the same thing with The Office, was how close to The Office should we be? And then when they started to kind of distance themselves more, that's when the show got better, in the same way as when The Office started to really just establish itself away from the BBC series. That's when it got good.
And Seinfeld is a famous example of it. Season 1 of Seinfeld is really rough, and it's not anything like the rest of the series because you have those growing pains with comedies. You have to find your voice, and it took them doing a 6-episode short season to find out who these characters were, and they changed so much in such better ways.
And I think in all these sort of ensemble series, it's also the actors. As the shows go on, they get more comfortable with the characters and are able to bring in more. Because in the first seasons of Parks and Rec, The Office, Seinfeld, it's very much just like the actors are just reading the lines. But then as the show goes on, like they're sometimes adding to it, or the writers are writing for the actors, not the actors just reading the lines. So it's growing pains.
Yeah.
Although Growing Pains had a great first season.
But it's interesting when you make the comparison to The Office, especially with the first seasons, because looking back at it, I think in the first season of The Office, it was so many of the side characters. Like those are the characters that changed the most going into the second and later seasons, figuring out who they were.
One line maybe in the entire.
Well, if you watch like what Mindy Kaling's wearing, it's like a high collar, like very stuffy shirt.
Yeah.
But then when you go back to Parks, it seemed like, Tom and Ann and Andy, they were all kind of set with their characters. It was, they had to figure out what Leslie was. And I think once they figured out the character Leslie was supposed to be, which is not someone who's kind of like has dumb luck and, fumbles around with things, once they established her as somebody with like ideas and a plan, I think that's when it all started to gel together. So for me, it's just interesting, like I said, both first seasons had a struggle, but for one, it was figuring out who all these side characters, supporting characters were, whereas in Parks, it was figuring out what the main character was, so then everybody could kind of gel around that.
But talking about characters, I'm bringing
you bringing it back?
What I did last week for The Office. I made up a small bracket, and we're going to find out characters up against each other. But I did something different.
I love them all.
It's all right. They hated me last week for speaking this.
Yeah,
wait, I wasn't here last week. What happened? What happened?
Oh, we're just it's a bracket thing, so you're picking between two characters.
No.
Yeah. My favorite TV show character of all time didn't make it past round 1 last week, so I can't wait.
But yeah, I did something a little bit different with this one. I took the top 14 from IMDb from the most episodes they've been in. Then I threw in a couple of interesting characters as wild cards, which has led to a couple of interesting matchups.
Okay.
And the first one is going to be Leslie Knope versus Lil Sebastian.
Oh.
I don't get it at all. It's Leslie Knope, for sure. For sure it's Leslie. I don't care.
Oh, man.
So James has gone for Leslie.
Despite you wearing a little Sebastian, sir.
Oh, sorry, it's me.
Yeah.
Look, this is like really tough, but also really easy because look, this character is the heart of the show. It's what the show is kind of really built around, and it's what made it last so well. It's the heart of Pawnee. It's obviously Little Sebastian.
I knew you were going to do that.
Manning, who are you going with?
Wow, you just want to watch the world burn, don't you, Matt? Okay, wow. Bye bye, Little Sebastian.
Whoa,
it's Leslie.
too soon.
It is Leslie. So there is no comparison whatsoever. But Little Sebastian is a staple in the Pawnee town, but Leslie was a staple inside all our hearts.
Teresa, which one are you going with?
Yeah, Little Sebastian's gonna have to spread his wings and fly away because it's definitely Leslie Knope.
Yeah,
joke by the way.
No other answer.
Obviously, Leslie is the correct answer. It's not an opportunity.
Matt, if you would have somehow got Little Sebastian to beat Leslie Knope in round 1,
it would be the second
hard
greatest
thing
thing
you've
I've ever done with a ranking.
That's why I'm glad I'm on this one, because I yell about the rankings a lot. So I get a say this time.
But we've got next up we've got Anne versus Ben.
Oh, It's a round 1 matchup.
And I'm going to start with.
Broken Leslie Knope's heart.
Oh my god, yeah, her two loves.
The two people she loves.
I'm
the
going to
most.
start with Matt on this one.
I like Ben a lot. I think Ben's a very funny character. The Coens of Dunshire, but my pick for this round is gonna be Ann Perkins. I just think Ann's a really funny character.
Yeah. Manning, who are you going to go with?
What's funny, these two characters are the straight characters in all this. Like they're the ones who are like, they're not the goofy ones. I mean, they have their goofy moments, obviously, but they're the ones who, they're the ones in this town who have a little more reality in them in comparison to everyone else. But I just have to go with Ben because Ben was someone that we need once he came on, and then we got to see his character arc just grow a little more. I just started to fall in love with that super nerdy, really Ice Town, beautiful man over there.
I was gonna say how long it took before someone brought up Ice Town.
R.I.P.
Teresa, which way are you going with?
I'm thinking about this just in terms of, like I said, taking out how I feel about characters themselves, but looking at the show as a whole. I think the central relationship of the series is Leslie and Ann. Like I said, Ben is there and they complement each other really well. I think they are I love them together, but the show, beginning to end, it's Leslie and Ann. You have in the finale, she pushes everybody out of the way as soon as she sees Ann's there. Ann's here.
Ann's here.
They had when they did the word cloud, it was like I forget what it is. She loves something, but she really loves Ann.
Well, the show kind of starts off at that town meeting when Ann and Leslie first meet. If that doesn't happen, the show is kind of completely different.
Yeah. This one's tough for me, but I'm going to go for Ben and put the deciding vote to James.
Yes.
Cool.
Thanks for having me on, Malcolm.
Drops out the call.
This is such a tough matchup to put in round 1. I believe in everything that Teresa just said, but I love Ben Wyatt as a character so much. I relate to him on so many levels. He has so many funny lines. The relationship that he and Leslie have is just beautiful, and how much that they love each other no matter what. And I know that she has the same thing with Ann, but I just like the way that they illustrated with her and Ben more, so I gotta go with Ben. It hurts me to get rid of Ann.
James, you did that during Nurses Week. I can't believe you. I can't believe you.
Blame Malcolm for putting them together.
Yeah. You couldn't see I was making the note face at you.
Oh, I saw you.
The next
you son of a
bitch.
Welcome to late night.
We've got Andy versus John Ralphie, who Manning.
Why are you putting final 4 rounds in round 1?
Okay.
Hey, it's just the order that they are for most episodes they've been in.
So, Jean-Ralphio is my favorite quote-unquote side character, quote-unquote, because he got a lot more as the series progressed. Just of how he's so absurd. The man literally looks like he's just this walking caricature, and it's wonderful. But Andy, you have Burt Macklin, everybody. The Burt Macklin, Johnny Karate. Andy's a character progressed so much more in his really stupid, ridiculous way. I gotta go with Andy. I'm sorry, Jean-Ralphio, but you've just been denied.
Teresa, which one are you going to go with?
I think to keep this interesting, I'm going to go with Jean-Ralphio on
there
this one. Like I said, especially because you put out, so this is against Andy Dwyer. We're not voting with Burke Macklin. We're not voting with Johnny Karate. We're voting Andy. So I'm going to go Jean-Ralphio.
Please tell me that those are actually characters you have on this list we can vote with.
What to know is that he didn't have to be Burt Macklin. He helped that kid. Security guard Andy helped that kid.
Yeah.
But for this one, I'm going for the creator of Johnny Karate's super mega awesome musical show, and I butchered that up.
Explosions in there too.
Yeah.
Musical explosion.
There's as many titles in that show as Mouse Rat had different names.
James,
Malcolm, you're the worst. Oh. I love John Ralphio. He is probably my favorite character outside of the main cast. Every time Ben Schwartz comes on screen, I just smile. He brings so much to that little tiny role, and he steals every scene he's in. But Andy Dwyer is a linchpin of Parks and Rec. If you don't have Andy, you lose a lot of the heart of that show, a lot of the fun. So I can't vote against Andy. It hurts me to boot John Ralphio out of this, but God, you got to go with Andy Dwyer.
So just like John Ralphio, I'm so alone.
Matt, which one would have you gone with?
So John Ralphio has possibly my favorite line in the entire series, which I said earlier, but I'm going to say again. I made my money the old-fashioned way. I got run over by a Lexus. And then Ben Schwartz is just like turned to camera after he says that. Cracks me up every time, even if I just like watch it on YouTube when I need a laugh. But Andy Dwyer is my favorite character from Parks and Rec. And the fun thing about Andy was he was an idiot through and throughout, but like he developed as the series went on. And I think the constant was like his heart was always in the right place. Like even if he went about things like an idiot, like he wasn't doing stupid stuff to intentionally hurt people. Like he always wanted to help people. I mean, just look at his
season one Andy a little less.
Yeah, but that's the thing is season one Andy was a character that they were intending to not even bring back. Yeah. But then when they brought Andy back in season two, that's the Andy Dwyer.
Yeah. Season two and on, he's just a puppy dog, and you love him. I mean, he has no clue what's going on, but he knows he's doing it really, really
great. So, if a child came up to you and asked to hold your gun, what would you do? I give it to him because I always wanted to hold one.
I always wanted to hold a gun when I was a kid.
You know what's amazing? He scored the greatest out of anyone on the written exam, but he just failed that spoken one.
I'll tell you one of my favorite lines that John Ralphio ever says too, and it's super underrated and it's so niche, nobody ever knows it, but it's, "No way, the closer?" When talking about seeing Kira Sedgwick get out of the taxi. I love his delivery of that. Just his face just kills me every time I see it.
I also love him and his sister in the finale when they fake his death for money. And they're like watching from behind the tree.
You got the insurance money? We're going to open up a casino in Tajikistan or whatever it is.
Oh, man.
Abort the casino!
But the next matchup that we have is Tom Haverford versus Mark Brendanawicz. Teresa, who do you have in this one?
Well, I think you spelled that wrong because it's Mark Brendanawicz. So we have to go with Tom Haverford.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going Tom in this one too.
It's the easiest one.
Yeah.
Yeah, James.
Yeah, slam dunk Tom. Mark Brendanawicz had a couple moments that were memorable. He had a couple things, but he was not they wanted him to be Jim, and he was not Jim.
Matt.
I guess I brought this red tape for nothing, so I thought we wouldn't forget you. I actually like Mark Brendanawicz more than most people, probably because I like Jim a lot, but I understand why at the end of season 2 of any of the characters to get rid of, I can see why you chose it. Long way. I'm voting for Tom because Tom is the superior character, but I just want to say most people I just eat crap on Mark Brendanawicz, but I like his character. But Tom is, it's entertainment.
It's Tom, be fresh, baby.
It's Tom. It's Tom. He's just, Tom is like, he's not someone that I think I would ever want to be friends with because I feel like he would constantly try to con me out of money, but I love watching him on TV. He's also the inventor of snake juice, which leads to one of the funniest moments in the show.
That's my favorite episode of the show.
Yep.
And Manning, where would you have gone on this one?
I mean, it's a clean sweep to Tom Haverford. There is no way that ridiculous little guy is not. It's not over Mr. Mark Brendanawicz. So.
I want to live in the parallel universe where Mark Brandon Woods won them.
Now,
Broke anyone watching this.
Okay.
before I get into this one, I was tossing up putting Diane or Tammy at number 15. I did not plan this one out at all. this
See,
actually
Malcolm,
happened.
when you say these things, it makes me think that you did plan it out. Because why would you say that if you didn't plan it out?
Hey, he's right.
I'm just saying.
I don't know if I planned it out, it would have made it a lot harder on people when like what I did last week with Michael versus Jim in the first round.
Yeah, you did that. I still believe you did that intentionally because you knew where Robin and Vanessa were going.
You know, when you make a bracket, you can seed people based on strength. You know, Duke doesn't play North Carolina in the first round.
Well, I mean,
Look,
as
James,
I
we are
said,
talking about
UMBC plays
not
Virginia.
God.
I mean, as I said with this one, I seeded them based on the number of episodes they were in, and then with the two wild cards, I just put them in at 15, 16.
This is not the last dance episode, James. That's another week.
But Matt, don't spoil next week's topic.
Oh.
But anyway, this one is relatively easy for me. I wasn't really attached to Tammy 2 when she was there. I mean, she had some great moments, but this is easily one for me.
I don't think anyone wants to be attached to Tammy 2.
James, where are we going at this?
I do love Tammy too. I think Megan Mullally brings out so much fun in Nick Offerman. I mean, you see them just having the absolute best time every time they're on camera. But Punk as book jockey's got to go. We're going with Ron Swanson.
Matt.
I'm Ron fucking Swanson. Yeah, it's obvious. I think Tammy 2 is hilarious, and I think she has a lot of great moments. I love how everyone in Pawnee hates librarians now. That just cracks me up. But Ron is like one of the most constant, like, great characters. He also was responsible for the greatest opening of any of the episodes, which is the coffee maker. I broke it. It burned me when he asked like who broke the coffee machine, and it's just amazing.
They were getting a little chummy.
They were getting a little bit too chummy. Tell me, you don't have eyebrows. It's really difficult to tell how you're feeling.
Manning, where would you go in this?
Don't worry, I have a permit.
This says you can do what you want.
I can do whatever I want.
Ron Swanson, to me, is my favorite Parks and Rec character because he has the best arc. He goes from someone who just hates everything, and of course he hates a little less everything, but he held Leslie's hand at the very end. That's called character progression right there. And that softening of this really hard exterior just a little bit more, I really appreciate. But man, Tammy too is so much fun just to watch. Just that the camaraderie that she has with Ron, well, camaraderie is the wrong word, excuse me. The playful banter, we'll say. And that does play off the
they
fact
call it
there.
Toxicity, Manning.
Yes, there we go. That energy that they have from being the married couple in real life plays over wonderfully, and everything they have together is beautiful. But Ron, I gotta go with Ron.
And Teresa, where would you have gone on this?
So I think one of the things that makes me laugh, and I didn't mention it during when we talked about the reunion episode, is when they showed at the very beginning the first clip of Leslie and Ron talking to each other. I was watching that and I was like, I actually don't know if this is the show or if this is just like Amy and Nick Offerman talking to each other, because Ron and Nick are so synonymous with each other that I think that's what helps bring it out into such a great character, because he has those instincts, because so much of that is who he is. But yeah, like I said, it's no contest. This is Ron Swanson all the way. Now let's all go to Mulligan Steakhouse.
Can we get another clean sweep?
Give me all the bacon and eggs you have.
It's like,
all the bacon.
Which means the next matchup we have is Donna versus Chris.
Ooh.
James, I'm starting with you on this.
Starting with me on this one. Look, I really enjoy both of these characters an awful lot. And it's hard. I don't love one a lot more than the other. They're very equal for me. So this is actually a pretty tough matchup. It's not like picking between your kids, but it's just they're both kind of here. So I'm leaning towards going with Chris Traeger because seeing Rob Lowe and that different sort of energy that he brought, it was something that the show didn't really have. Somebody that was overly positive. Like Leslie is positive that she's going to be able to get things done, but Chris is positive about absolutely everything around a town that is completely trashed. But
literally
to him, everything can be happy. Everything is fine. Be healthy. He's somebody that came a long way from when he first got there to Pawnee. He was hypochondriac. All these things are going wrong, and by the end, he was able to accept imperfections because of Dr. Richard Nygaard. So I've got to go with Chris Traeger.
Matt, which one are you going with on this?
I love Donna. She is half of the characters that are responsible for Treat Yourself. And she definitely, I think, was one of the characters who just got better as the show went on. But Chris Traeger, just like pound for pound, might give me the most laughs because of that positivity. And that town is just like, you would think that would break a person like Chris, but it makes him stronger in a way. And he just, Rob Lowe just like is so funny as that character. And
every time he dances.
Yeah, he dances and just like just the way Ann Perkins, Leslie Knope. Yeah. Chris Traeger, you are perfectly healthy. Aren't you afraid that thing is going to give you cancer? Well, now I am.
Manning, which way are you going on this?
If I had only seen like the first couple seasons with Chris, I would have probably gone with Chris. But Donna's character continues to get better progressively over time to the point to where she just had this level of sass that could put other characters in their place when they got to. And the dynamic she had with Tom, that Treat Yourself is still something that I still use. Even if it's not, I'm thinking of Parks and Rec, it's just something that I just use when I'm out for
As an excuse to buy stuff.
Yeah, you treat yourself. Treat yourself, Matt.
Treat yourself.
It is just something that I do. I'm gonna have to go with Donna. Because I really like Chris a lot, but just Donna grew on me as we got to season 7. I'm like, I was so invested in her little side story.
She had such a good arc in season 7.
Yes,
her wedding might be my favorite episode of season 7, especially with her brother.
Lavondrius.
So perfect.
But Teresa, where are you going on this?
I think this is probably the most interesting and even of the matchups that we've had, because I think you can make easy arguments for both. But the thing that I really find distinguishing about both of them is Chris Traeger, his interactions with almost all the characters around him are pretty consistent. Whereas when you have Donna, her relationship with each character in that office is so vastly different. I love her friendship with April, where it's people you typically wouldn't see the two of them together and bonding, but they found what brings out the best in each other. You have Tom and Donna, who are just fun. You have like I said, I love the way that she interacts so differently with everybody, including the one who is kind of more tolerant of Jerry, Gary, Larry than everyone else in the office. She's
Don't
able
forget
to Terry, Mailman Barry. She's able to find something different to appreciate about each person and kind of draw that out of them. So I think her scenes with every character, it's just I loved what she brings out of everybody. So for me, it's Donna.
Which brings it to me.
Yep.
And
not so fun now, is it, Malcolm?
No, Malcolm enjoys this. Malcolm loves when that happens.
But it's actually pretty easy for me. I mean, it's one of those ones like I do like Chris. I think he's great, but I think Donna is better, and I mean, she's one that I think is really enjoyable for a lot of the same reasons that Teresa says. Like the way she has like the interactions are vastly different depending on who she's talking to. So yeah, I'm going to have to go Donna on this one.
Funny thing is,
Not even mad about it.
Chris Traeger would not even mad. Be like, Malcolm White, you vote for Donna. That's great.
Donna
I voted for Donna. James White, you voted for me. That's awesome.
Which means
Hey, great.
next up,
You're great.
we've got April versus Joan.
Oh.
And I'm going to start with, I think it's Manning that starts off with this one. I can't remember who started off last one.
I think I started the last one, so it's
Okay, so it's Matt, yeah.
Who is it?
You, Matt.
Oh, okay, it's me. Okay,
Matt.
I am Matt.
You're Matt.
Yes, that is correct. Yeah, this is Joan's really funny. She's a crazy character. Her actress's name is escaping me right now because I'm just terrible at those
Collins.
things. Yeah, but I've loved her ever since like watching Mad TV when I probably shouldn't have when I was younger, and she played Maria with Arnold, which obviously I loved Arnold Schwarzenegger back then. So, but April I think is one of the characters who her character sort of progression is one of my favorites in the series because she starts off as kind of just this like intern who kind of hates everyone and hates everything, but through her relationship with Andy, he kind of pulls out a different side of her that she doesn't show to everyone. And then I think in season 7, she's really good as she's sort of like struggling with this notion that like she's getting older and that she's kind of having to become more responsible in all of this. Yeah. And I just kind of love that. I think Aubrey Plaza really did a great job, and her and Chris Pratt just have such great chemistry and they work so well, even though they are so vastly different. That's kind of what you have to love about them because like they're polar opposite people, but that's also why they work so well together. So yeah, it's April, even though Joan's great. She's hilarious, but yeah, it's April.
Manning.
It is also April to me because what could have been a one-dimensional character, just someone who did deadpan comedy and just, went along with some of the flow. They gave her so much to do, and I think that a lot has to do with the way that Aubrey Plaza played off the different characters she interacted with. I remember when she was Ron's assistant, those two characters, their relationship dynamic might be one of my favorites because they're both characters who don't get overly excited by most things whatsoever. They have a certain particular demeanor that complements each other so well. It's like a father-daughter relationship in a way. And it was so satisfying to see that develop and see her character develop because, man, and then also, I forgot what episode it was, but their dynamic between April and Andy, it's literally a dog and a cat. And it is their wonderful relationship that just kind of grows as everything goes on. I remember one episode, it was, someone's going to die. His response, of fun. And her response, looking at the camera to the side, of murder. That was
April and Andy's fancy party.
That was the fancy party. Okay. I could not
my
remember
favorite
the life of me.
episode. So
that's a great episode. And that proves April Ludgate Dwyer, as she later becomes on, is one of my favorites and might be right behind Ron Swanson. So April, she's my vote.
Teresa, who would you vote for in this? So
even though I know April would vote for Joan because she has said that is one of her idols.
This is it's an easy one. This is April, like as others mentioned, has one of the most interesting character arcs through the series. I love that initially they weren't even plans for her and Andy to get together. It was just, there was the scene it was hunting trip when everybody was off and it was just the two of them in the office. They loved the chemistry that those two characters had together and kind of built their whole storyline around them. And I think that takes special actors and that takes special characters. So if we didn't have April Ludgate, we wouldn't have all of those amazing scenes later on because of just who those people are. So I'm going there.
Yeah. And I mean, if Aubrey Plaza and Chris Pratt wasn't so busy making movies, I would love to see a spin-off series all about April and Andy. Once all this is over,
Imagine.
just to see what kind of trouble get into. But that being said, my vote is April. Pretty easily for this. She's great, and I'm pretty sure, even though she would say that she doesn't care, she'll probably want to murder us in our sleep if we didn't vote for her. But James, where would you have gone on this?
Yeah, and Manning, you forgot it's April Ludgate Karate Dwyer. Don't forget that.
Yes, okay.
Karate is very important.
That's
It's like
right.
a doctorate. You don't forget those things.
I'm sorry, it's
I
actually
know.
Janet Snakehole.
Yeah. Yes, Tyler. Everybody's already touched on everything that makes April so great. You talk about somebody that really changed from beginning to end and had such a wonderful arc. To see her actually start caring about things and the influence that Leslie had on her personally, professionally, and everything. April just grew to be such an incredible person, and I love her interactions with Andy. Just their relationship is just beautiful. It's so much fun to see them. I completely agree. I would love to see a April Andy spinoff. I don't even care if we get it in 20 years and they're all old, and it would be even better that way. It would be so much fun to see Aubrey Plaza playing that role when she's 50 years old. I think it would be fantastic.
And Andy's
But
still walking into walls.
Joe Calamezzo is such a great character. I can't let it go without saying, dude, is she gonna powder her vagina?
Sorry, we're not done with round one yet.
We are about to be.
The final matchup, we've got Jerry, Gary, Terry, Barry, whichever, up against Purge. Manning, who are you going to vote for?
I love Purd. Purd was this ball of beautiful energy in the show, and he just made me smile every time he was on. But Jerry is this... Gary, you know what? At this point, I forgot what his real name actually was, just because it's been so that his name has been thrown around as a joke so long, and he is this secret weapon that the show had. He was this character that was this the nicest guy you could possibly meet, but everyone crapped on him, and you as the audience were in on the joke. And he was in on the joke in a little bit. And then the moment I remember when we found out that he actually had a great life, wonderful wife and kids, and everyone was like, this is Jerry? The man could play the piano. What episode was that where he played the piano beautifully? And then people were like, shut up the noise. We don't need to hear that anymore. Do you guys remember off the top of your head?
It's telethon.
It was a telethon. Okay.
And when he's painting by the sea, it's just like, time to go back to work.
He has these little moments that are just wonderful, and I think Jerry is one of the secret weapons, as I said, that Parks and Rec had. And for me, I have to go Jerry. I love you, Purd, but you know what? I didn't get enough Purd. Got more Jerry.
Teresa, where are you going on this?
That's actually going to be my complaint about this. I did not get enough Purd, and we got too much Jerry, who goes after his breakfast burrito and doesn't even let his dog have any after it falls in the river. What is that? No, this is Purd. I'm sorry. Purd is by far one of my favorite characters in the show, period. I was so excited to see him at the reunion episode. Yeah, I'm a Purdbert. I'm not ashamed to admit it.
I'm actually with you there. I like Purge. Like for me, Jerry's just one of those characters which is there. He didn't. He's one of those ones that he had some good moments and some laughs. And I think, if I remember rightly, his real name is Gary. But I'm not too sure if that
I'm gonna find out right now, actually.
Gary Gingrich.
Hey, you don't even know what his real name is, so how can any of you vote for him?
I knew it was Gary.
But with that, James, who are you going to vote for?
Yeah, I mean, this one is a little tough for me because I do love both characters. I think that Purd just has more lasting impact for me. Just his line delivery and the script that they write for him just kills me. Doesn't matter what he's doing. It's like, I'm sitting here talking to you about this thing because that's what I'm doing. Just, it makes no sense, but it makes all the sense. I've lost my little Judge Naki thing, so case over. Tap, tap, tap.
So was that a vote for Purd, I'm guessing?
It is a vote for Purd.
Yeah. Which means Purd is moving on. Matt, where would you have gone for this?
We are doing a ranking. You are asking me questions, and I am giving you answers.
Yes.
Tap, tap, tap. Yeah, I love Jerry, Gary, Terry, whatever. I think he's great. I think he never really had an arc in the show, but he was also the character who didn't require to have one. But Purd just makes me laugh more. And I also think the Parks Department, like, it also just makes all the sense in the world that Jerry does not get past round one. Like, that just of all
literally about
it
to
just
say,
makes the
like-
most sense that he
Yep.
would not make it.
I was just
Y'all
about to say it too. You beat me to it.
Like,
But that Purd is moving on,
and that's the word.
You
With
heard?
Purd. You heard? With
With
Purd.
Purd.
which means I'm going to start from the bottom of round 2, which is April versus Purd.
Ooh, good.
Oh no.
That's
easy.
Teresa, I'm going to start with you.
Damn it. You know, I'm just gonna keep rolling with it and just keep going with Purd.
Yeah, I mean, this
Anarchy.
is,
Anarchy.
yeah, this is one. I love April, but I do like Purd more.
What is
Ja-
this? What have we done?
James.
James, come on.
You guys are trying to make the world burn. I'm not going to allow it to continue
Which
past this
April would
point.
support.
I do love Purd, but I can't vote for Purd over April. April means too much to the show, and I cannot, in good conscience, move Purd happily past her. Although, I really, maybe should I? No, I'm not going to. April gets my vote.
Matt.
James doesn't seem to have a definitive answer to the question that he was being asked, but he gave an answer. Nah, it's April. Like,
Purd
Purd-
wouldn't Purd wouldn't say definitively. Come on.
it's April.
Which means Maddie, you get the deciding vote here.
I was literally thought we were living in a Twilight Zone episode for a second. I was like, what? Just what in the world? It is April. It is April. And yeah, that's It's
So it's okay. Purd's gonna leave this and he's gonna go look at little pictures of doggies. It's fine.
Oh God! When we get to the top of this round, I'm going
A
to
New
cry.
Zealander decides to make a bunch of people on an internet show pick between favorites, like children.
Which
This
means the
is the take-free zone.
Which means the next one we have is Ron versus Donna. This one's easy for me. While I do like Donna, it's Ron. And that's that. James.
Yeah, it's pretty easy for me too. I do love Donna, and I really didn't realize how much I love Donna until hearing you guys all talking about her so eloquently in the first round. But Ron Swanson is Ron Swanson. I mean, I'm not gonna be able to vote for Donna over Ron. I gotta give him the vote. Ron's the man.
Matt, where are you going on this?
Don't sass me. I'll go Ron Swanson.
Manning.
I believe a while ago you said he gave us the best open. For me, the best cold open with Ron Swanson. Oh, that
The
one
tooth?
where he's like, no, it was the one where he calls in April and he's like, why is my name here? And he has to throw at the very end. He throws his computer out because he can't handle that technology. It's invasive of It's an invasion of privacy is what it is. It's Ron Swanson. He knows what he's about, and that man is an icon.
If you think that's bad, go to Google Earth and type in your address.
Teresa, where are we going on this?
I just have one thing to say because it's going with a landslide. Ron's in Bloosh. Ron's in Bloosh.
Ron.
I mean, one of my personal favorite one moment is when he reveals he's got bacon hidden in the ceiling. It's like I know where you're hiding things. I don't think you do. I knew it.
I also love in season 7 with the landmine. You made me think I had a real landmine this entire time.
Our next matchup we have is Andy versus Tom.
Oh, no.
And James.
This one I don't think is super hard for me. While I do love Tom, he can be annoying at points. And it's just the nature of his character. Whereas Andy, like I said, he's just a puppy dog. He's like a Labrador he's always bounding, full of energy. And no matter what he does, it's just fun and funny. So I enjoy Andy a lot more at certain moments than I do Tom. Andy.
Matt.
I'm 4 years older than April. That means that when I was 4, she was a baby. I would have been cool playing with a baby. Tom's great, but Andy is awesome sauce.
Manning.
This is genuinely very hard. I still haven't decided myself as I've been sitting here. I've been literally going back thinking like, all right, what episode did I love the best out of all of them that they were their actual characters? Because they're very different. They're incredibly different characters. One is, well, they're both aloof in some regards, but one of them has a very specific drive in life. The other one has another very specific drive in life. And these two individuals represent two different sides of the Parks Department. And this hurts. I'm just gonna say it. I'm gonna get it out. I'm just gonna Andy.
Teresa, here we go. We would do on this.
So I'm gonna talk. I have to talk myself through this because I think there are another one that I think is kind of an even match. They both treated Anne terribly. Tom gave us food rakes, but Andy gave us 5,000 candles in the wind. I know I said earlier when we were voting I didn't go for him because we were just doing Andy, but I think because he has the edge with Burt Macklin that he can pull out at any point in time, I'm going with Andy.
Yeah, and it would have been a clean sweep because I'm going with Andy over Tom. And he Johnny Karate's his way to the next round.
So where are the presidents?
Yeah.
One of my favorite moments.
Oh, Andy.
I don't like this.
Nope.
No, not that one. We just.
I was gonna say.
I don't like this one either. We have to do it again.
Next up, we've got.
I don't like this. I don't like this.
And I'm going to start with Matt.
Leslie. I like Ben.
Thank God.
I'm just, Ben's great, but Leslie is Leslie.
Manning.
I relate to Ben on a personal level in a lot of areas, but it's Leslie. It's Leslie. It's very much Leslie. She is the heart and soul of this, and she is just wonderful.
You spent an entire afternoon making a 12-second stop motion?
I would do that. That's what I would do.
Teresa.
She loves the town so much, she literally wrote the book on it. Leslie.
Even though she is in Eagleton.
We don't talk about
that.
I mean, she was only born in Eagleton.
Because of the raccoons, man.
Because of the raccoons. I mean, this is Leslie for me. James, where are you going on this?
I would have voted for Leslie, but I'm going to give my vote to Ben. That way it's not a complete sweep here. But yes, Leslie is the heart and soul of the show. So she absolutely would have had my vote. However, I will give Ben White some love.
I like how James is like, look, my vote doesn't matter, so I'll give it to the guy who's losing anyway.
You got a lot of breakup there, Matt. You're really pixelated.
Am I?
There you go. You went out for a second for me. I'll type your symptoms up into the thing up here.
Yeah, it
I
says
think
I
you
have
have
network
network
connectivity problems.
There's your layup.
You
But,
stole my joke I was going to do for this matchup. Thanks, James.
Aw.
But our next matchup, we've got Leslie and Andy. Manning, I'm going to start for you.
No, this is where this one's a little bit easier because while initially when I saw this, it would have been Andy, but over time, Leslie as a character has grown on me tremendously. The progression as a human and just like her arc and her, sense of duty that she has, and Amy Poehler knocks out of the park. And yeah, Andy Dwyer, Chris Pratt is great, but I prefer Leslie as a character. So Leslie.
Teresa, where are we going on this?
I mean, I think it's pretty. Leslie is my heart, and she is my everything. So doesn't take much for me. I don't even have to give like a long reason. It's just Leslie.
Yeah, this one is legitimately tough for me, but yeah, I do love Leslie. I think she's great, but I think for me, the one that I laugh the most at is Andy. So my vote's going to Andy on this. James.
Yeah, I think that gosh, this is it's Leslie. I'm trying to find out, really what I'm thinking, because I do love Andy as a character, but Leslie is the show. If you don't have her, just the way that she turned out, you have a completely different show, and you could have had the fun that you get with Parks without Andy. You can't take Leslie out and still have that same experience. You could take Andy out, and you could.
And Matt, where would you have gone?
I would have went with Andy. Just because this is the last time I'll be able to talk about this character on here now, obviously. He's the character that I relate to the most out of that show, just that like not caring what people think about you and just kind of liking yourself, and sort of like that's just something I relate to a lot, that I had to learn later on in life to just like not give a shit about. And that's just who Andy is. Like he does stupid stuff, but like he's having fun, and that's all that matters. And also Chris Pratt brought so much of himself to that character. I think most people here, I assume, have seen that blooper that ended up in the show where he steals the briefcase, throws it, breaks the light, and then jumped over. And that was not written. That was just a blooper. It was not intended for them to break that. But it's just, yeah. So it would have been Andy, even though I think Leslie's a great character.
That's going to be a lot harder to fix.
Going to find out too. So we've got Rod or April. Teresa, we're going to start with you.
Damn it! I was like, please don't let me be first on this. I am broken because I don't know how to pick between these two.
You picked Pert over April like that.
I know.
Well, Leslie
This is a fact.
is she?
No, this is so tough. Well, and it's a toss-up. Part of it is because I'm trying to think, like, in terms of which character I like the more, but I'm also like going, who am I going to have to vote? Who is the next vote going to be? Because the next one's the last one. So I'm like, what position do I want to put myself in? I think as much as we talk about, Leslie is the central focus. She's the heart of the show. I think the show doesn't work as well if you don't have Ron being that counterbalance to all of her optimism, him toning her down and bringing her back to reality. And sometimes, he's the one who really knows how to get under her skin constantly. I think if you don't have Ron Swanson, and if you don't have Nick Offerman as Ron Swanson, the show is not nearly as successful.
Yeah, this is also very tough for me because I really love both of these characters, and I'm going to have to go Ron as well. But James, which one are you going with?
I completely agree with Teresa. I think that Ron is such a perfect foil for Leslie, but he's also such a perfect partner. They work so well together when they're not even on the same side of an argument. You need that yin and yang, and they just have such a great dynamic. And like Manning said earlier, you see how much that Ron grows through it, and you see him holding Leslie's hand at the end of the season. I mean, it's just a beautiful relationship that they have, and it's one built on respect. When he reads through her application and what he notes, saying how she's so headstrong and all this stuff, and at the end he just says hire her, because he knows that she is perfect for this job, even though he disagrees with her completely fundamentally. So I got to go with Ron, because he is the perfect balance for Leslie.
Which means that there's going to be an interesting final with Ron and Leslie.
Yep.
Matt, who would you have gone with in this one?
Yeah, my vote didn't count again. Why am I even here? You guys are clearly doing fine without me. Yeah, this is really tough, and I guess I'm kind of glad that suckers don't have to pick between them. I probably would have given the slight edge to Ron, just because he punched Jam in the face, and Jam deserved that at Leslie's wedding. So,
Manning, where would you have gone?
These are my two favorite characters in the show. So this hurts, but since I don't have to make the decision anymore, I'll give some love to April, because she has something, and it's not a 4 blood as James did a while ago. So a little respect down there.
Which means our final was pretty much similar to last week. It's the 1 and 2 seeds.
Wow, what appropriate.
Leslie versus Ron. And it's on me to kick it off. This is tough, but I'm going to give slight edge to Ron. I like Leslie, but I think Ron is the interesting of the two. James, where are you going on this?
I think that I enjoy and I laugh more when Ron is on screen. I love that character, but Leslie Knope is Parks and Recreation, and just her positivity, her determination that she's going to make this town better, and then she's going to make the state better, and then she's going to make the parks better, and she's going to do this for everybody else. She's so selfless. She puts herself way behind everybody else she meets. You meet her for one time and you're her best friend, and we all need more people like Leslie Knope in our lives.
Matt, where are you going on this?
It's hard to say, because what you're dealing with here are two sides of the heart of Parks and Rec, in my opinion. Leslie is the much more outright, loves everyone, loves the town. But Ron is the type of, like, he's really kind of closed off, but when he lets you in, you're in forever, kind of. You see that with his relationship with Leslie and April, which is very much to the both of them, father and daughter to me. Like, just very much like, I care about you. I would do anything for you. And I think that's why I'm giving slight edge to Ron, because I just find that as a more, like, Leslie's great and she has a lot of qualities to why I like Chris, but Ron just has that. I just like the progression of that, and then also stuff with, like, his relationship with Diane is great, and Ron is also responsible for the thing I post on my Facebook every 4th of July. History began on July 4th, 1776. Everything before that was a mistake.
Oh, Ron.
But Manning, where are you going on this?
Right.
Never half-ass two things, whole-ass one thing.
I mean, Ron has a lot of great quotes. I'm going to be honest about that one. That's, See, my head, because he's my favorite character objective, the one that makes me laugh the most, is Ron Swanson. But my heart is telling me Leslie Knope, because James, you're right. She is Parks and Rec. She literally is. She took us from a show that was like, to the very end of the show. Honestly, wait, can we just do like 1A, 1B? Can we just do that? I'd be happy with that. Like, is that okay, Malcolm? Can we do that?
Do we
No.
have a tie? No.
Can we vote for breakfast food?
Yes. Yes.
As
There
I
you
wear
go.
my JJ's Diner shirt.
Hey, look, Ron would not be okay with the tie.
That's
He would
true.
not. You're right. He would not be okay with the tie.
It would be on the pyramid of excellence.
Oh, what a pyramid.
Tie is like kissing your sister.
Ah, okay. D3, my ducks. Okay.
I genuinely don't know. This is quite difficult. We're gonna be stuck
Hey,
here
James,
for a
check
little
out the
while.
live chat.
I mean, I can give you a 5 count to speed it up if you want.
Give me a 5 count. I'm gonna have to go with my gut.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Leslie.
I'm so
which,
happy.
which means it's on Teresa to decide the victor.
I wonder what's going to happen now.
And so I just
I
come
like the way, earlier around it came up that people talk about the characters that they identify with, and Leslie Knope just has throughout everything is a character I identify with, and it's not even her best scene, but there's the gif I send all the time is the I'm super chill all the time. Like that's just it speaks to me so much as a person, and it's even outside of saying that you can't have this series without Leslie Knope, you can't have this series without everything that Amy Poehler brought to the character and the interactions that she has with everybody. Like I said, I worked in a nonprofit, I've worked for the state. So I've seen and been in so many of these situations that she has found herself in, and I feel like I would have handled them a lot better if I'd had a Leslie Knope actually in my life, kind of guiding me through a lot of things. So for me, it's this one's very easy. I do love that this was the final 2, and I still actually think that if we could vote for breakfast food, that's a great option. But I'm very happy giving Leslie the winning vote here.
That was a beautiful explanation.
Yeah.
That's lovely. I love that.
I was about to say,
I love
I'm just
when we can
glad
do those
these
things.
2 were the last ones. That's what
I
I'm happy with.
honestly, when this all started, I was like, I'm gonna put money down to myself that is gonna be Ron and Leslie, because of course it's gonna be Ron and Leslie. Oh, my opinion
wow.
matters.
I'm just imagining the more you know music coming in. Your opinion matters.
Susan Billy Belton's got a message for James.
Oh,
Hi,
I see
Billy.
how it is, Billy. I see how it is, Billy.
Have
You
Billy
bring
start
me with
getting
any of
into
your
the chat.
yeah. Bring me any of the Parks and Rec trivia questions you got lying around anywhere, Billy. I'll always take them.
You hear that? You hear that, Billy? James will always take what you give him.
I mean, he's
It's not
so
how I
good-
worded that.
Wait,
That's
what?
No,
not
that's
how
how
I
I
worded
did.
that.
I mean, he's so good at Parks and Rec. He got promoted to the Schmodown and had to miss out on the trivia match to prove it.
I was so bummed I didn't get to play in that match.
But the next thing is there's favorite episodes, and I'm going to start with Teresa. What is your favorite episodes of Parks and Rec?
I did mention it earlier. So the fight is my favorite episode, and that's the one with Snake Juice. And I think that was just I love it as one of the opportunities. Obviously it's fun to see them all drunk, but I love the montage where they kind of each have their own little moment with the camera, where we get the great Ron dance. Like I said, I love all the other relationships and just all the storylines that kind of come out of that episode. But yeah, the fight is one that if I don't know I want to watch, I'll put that one on. And then second favorite, it's kind of I'm going to cheat a little bit because it's a 2-parter. So it's Emergency Response. And then why can't I remember what the wedding episode is called? Is it just
Andy and April's fancy party?
no? Ben and
No,
Leslie.
Oh,
the
Ben.
second one after.
When it's
I think it's just it's just called Leslie and Ben.
that's okay. Yeah, I was like, I know, I can't remember the name, but yeah. So I think those are both pretty tied with me, but more so the emergency response side of it, which I'll let James talk about that more because I know he has things to say.
Manning, what is some of your favorite episodes?
One off the top of my head that'll always go back to. I had to double check the title because I'm not good with titles. It was The Treaty, the one where you have Ben and Leslie go at it, and we have. But I needed to quote this verbatim. My favorite exchange from them as individuals. You have, "It's a white flag, and you may as well start waving it now." Leslie's response: "The only thing I'll be waving is your decapitated head on a stick in front of your weeping mother." And I don't know why, but the shock as it cuts to Andy's face, and then Ben says, like, "Good Lord." It's the perfect, like, I don't know, that humor where it cuts to someone and then you see the aftermath and you're witnessing it as in, like, you know, these characters interact in their lives and they go over the top. And I adore that one. That was one that really always got me. I really enjoyed. And then the other one that I have is the flu season when everyone started getting sick. That was another fantastic one because everyone just, you know, especially when, okay, I will say Chris had a great, this was another great Chris episode, I have to say. You know, I think it was like stop pooping in the face. That was a great one. But I can't, the thing is I'm really bad with like name titles. So come back to me in a little bit. I might have another one, but off the top of my head, those are the two I really, really love. And of course, Little Sebastian episode. That was great. That was great.
Matt, what's some of your favorite episodes?
Oh yeah, unlike The Office, I'm not as good with episode titles for Parks and Rec, but Little Sebastian's Funeral is one of my favorites. I also love the episode when they're doing the lockdown drill, canvassing. I talked about that earlier, but my favorite episode is and forever will be Andy and April's Fancy Party. I just think it's super funny. You know, the doves. All right, that one's dead. Hey, so that April chick, is she like available? She just got married. Oh, okay. All right.
That's the same girl.
That's the same girl. But then it also just has the sweet moments. I would fight anyone. A bear, that guy. It's just, yeah, it's kind of what I love about Parks and Rec, just in one episode where it's like really, really funny, but then you also get those really nice, sweet moments. And even Leslie's story in that of like trying to stop the wedding and then realizing, you know, that conversation she has with Ron, to where it's just like, look, they're stupid. Just let them do what they want. And that's life. They have to kind of just deal with whatever their choices are. But of course we see that it works out, which I was so happy about my first time, because I knew nothing about Parks and Rec, so I didn't know if they would end. And I was so happy to get the end of that series, and they're still together. So yeah, Andy.
James, what are some of your favorite episodes?
Teresa talked about them because obviously we have the same favorite episodes. The fight absolutely is probably the best episode of Parks and Rec. I love that so much. Everything at the Snake Hole Lounge, from beginning to end, you get the introduction of Burt Macklin, you get Janet Snake Hole, and that whole thing with them stealing the tip money, and it's great. And yes, Emergency Response was also going to be the one that I talked about, and it is cheating because it's the two-parter with Leslie and Ben. But you get one of my favorite side characters that doesn't get enough love, and that is Animal Control. When they come up for the avian flu, I cry laughing when they're talking about the birds. It's like, all right, yeah, you want me to kill these birds? All right, how you want me to kill them then? So you want me like with a gun? It's like, but I'm really gonna kill them, right? I'll do it.
Right after I'm done killing these birds.
And the honorable mention just from the scene though is Animal Control, because when that opening is one of my favorite in the whole series when they're walking through Animal Control. It's like, what is this here? Oh yeah, we try to make a work whistle like from the Flintstones. Harder than it looks though. Kills me every time I watch it. I love those guys. But to throw out an episode that nobody's talked about, I'll say the camping episode. That one is a lot of fun.
That random episode that was tossed on the season 6 DVD set of The Office, which I never understood as an Office fan. I was just like, what is this? Why is this on here?
And also Hunting Trip. I love Hunting Trip. You get so many fun interactions in that one with Ron getting shot. It's like right after because you shot me in the face, and seeing everybody just completely turning on Tom It's a lot of fun in that
I
one.
love the bit of continuity with that. In the very next episode, Ron still has a bit of his hair missing.
Yeah.
I always like when shows have, particularly comedy shows, which tend to not. I like when they have those little bits of continuity. No one mentions it, but it's just there.
Well, that's why one of my favorite running jokes throughout the entire series, because of how often it comes up and how subtle it is Tom and his tiny cup, which is like 40 times. And I remember like when we got to the finale, I was like, I just want it in there once, and they have it on Tom's book cover. I'm like, thank you. Like,
yeah, I mean, a lot of my favorite episodes have already been mentioned. I like pretty much all the reading episodes. I actually did like the finale as well. I think the finale was great.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
But just like James with having an episode he loved because of one scene, one of my favorite episodes because of a scene is Article 2, I think it is, the famous filibuster scene from Ben and Oswald. And the fact that he improvised that whole thing is just something that is hard to believe at times, just with how absurd it is. But it's just so entertaining, and I'm glad they actually animated that for a YouTube special Geek Week, so we can actually see it happen. And just crazy.
And it was strangely prophetic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like I can see that happening now.
I have a joke I can make, but well, I'll make it anyway. That filibuster is probably more thought out than the sequel trilogy was.
Oh, yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Hey, come on! Sometimes the truest truths are the hardest ones to hear, people. By the way, Biva Rise of Skywalker on Blu-ray, which is a sponsor of this video.
And Malcolm, I love that your Jojo Rabbit poster has been giving you 20 years this whole time. It's the best.
It is great. It is genuinely great.
And Billy has provided a trivia question for you, James.
What is it?
What he takes the center code when Big plays codes and Dunshaw against Grizzle?
The lowly farmer.
His humble farmer.
Oh!
It was still a farmer.
Yeah, it was still the wrong answer. What?
Correct. There you go. It's correct.
Thank you. This is just going to turn into Parks and Rec trivia now.
Ready.
But yeah, that does bring us to the end of the Parks and Rec segment. I mean, we could go on for hours on end talking about it, really, but we don't have that much time. But we will finish with a game of 6 degrees. So
God.
I will be the judge. I'm tapping out of this because this is not my strength. But I've seen arguments. I'm gonna judge if somebody has a correct answer or not.
Oh, thank God, that's a first.
I think that's really nice, really good.
All right.
So Matt,
well, guys,
explain.
For those of you who are playing, how 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon works here on Take 3 is unlike it works anywhere else because, well, Matt never really learned what 6 degree Kevin Bacon was before he came up with this game. So I will say the name of an actor that was in a movie with another actor, and the Manning will have to say that actor was in a movie with another actor. Now, if you're able to get Kevin Bacon in there somehow, you win yourself a lifeline, which pretty much means if you would have been out, you would not be. Franchise rules in effect. That means if Manning wants to say Liam Neeson was in
Star Wars.
Yeah, I was trying to go away from Star Wars, but was in The Phantom Menace with Natalie Portman. No more Star Wars. However, for whatever reason, because when I tried to do it the first time, you bitched and complained. With Marvel, only the trilogies it applies to. So if you were to say Chris Evans was in Captain America: The Winter Soldier with Sebastian Stan, is that the one? Yeah, that's the one. You cannot say any more Captain America movies, but the Iron Man films, the Thor films, the Avenger films would still be in play. Everybody got that?
Got it.
Yep.
Cool.
And the order I'm going to do is is it's going to be Manning to me to James, then James to Matt, and so Matty, you can do the first one.
Can I just time out for a second? Is Billy asking us another Parks and Rec question or a 6 Degrees Kevin Bacon question? In what movie did the characters play this actual game?
There's a movie where they play it.
I'm sorry, that's what I'm saying. Is there a
Game
movie
night?
where they play President there or 6 Degrees Kevin Bacon?
I'm not too sure.
No, Billy, just be a little bit more specific, please.
Well, I will start off then by saying, because we talked about Parks and Rec, Amy Poehler in what's a movie with no Tina Fey? Inside Out.
Riff.
You have to pick another person, right?
Mhm.
Oh,
Motherfucker, what is the point of explaining the rules if no one's going to listen?
oh,
Is this
sorry,
a
I
Matt
realized
Wilson
that.
playing punting?
Excuse me.
It's
Yep,
just funny
I know,
at this
I
point to
know.
hear me do it.
Okay, let me try this again. Oh, sorry, Malcolm. Amy Poehler was in Inside Out with do I want to be mean or do I want to not be mean?
What's the order? I wasn't listening.
Phyllis Knight.
I knew that's where you were going.
I was the
Wait,
mean
what's
one.
the order?
Hold on.
It goes to Malcolm. It's going
Oh, okay.
clockwise.
I
Cause
might
I
challenge
can-
that though, because I don't think you said the correct last name.
Yeah, I don't
Ooh.
think
Oh, is it not?
Knight.
Yeah, I don't think that's what I was
Okay,
saying.
then I'll do Bill Hader then. I hadn't.
Okay.
I said,
Hey.
oh, now I'm gonna check now. How do I?
I thought it was Smith.
That is correct.
Yeah, I was going to say, I thought it was the same as their Office character.
Yeah, same as me.
Schmodown.
Bull
I actually knew
Hader.
it was him. Huh.
Bull Hader was in It Chapter 2 with. Which one do I want to go with here? With Jessica Chastain.
Well, let's go back to Parks and Rec, and we'll say Jessica Chastain was in Zero Dark 30 with Chris Pratt.
Chris Pratt was in Jurassic World with Bryce Dallas Howard.
I'm now really curious. Where did I get Phyllis Knight from? I don't know. I don't know why. That's in
Were
my
you
head
thinking
now.
of Gladys Knight?
No, for some reason my brain was like, oh, obviously I looked at her picture like that's Phyllis Knight. No, it's not. Like this thing doesn't even exist. I'm sorry. I'm just now like in this like how did I what okay. Bryce Dallas Howard was in oh shoot, what's that movie called by M. Night Shyamalan?
Oh, I know.
Was in Lady in the Water with Paul Giamatti.
Paul Giamatti was in The Amazing Spider-Man 2 with Jamie Foxx.
Probably the greatest villain portrayal since Arnold as Mr. Freeze.
Jamie Foxx was in Dreamgirls with Jennifer Hudson.
I'm sorry, you broke up there. What was your
Jamie
name?
Foxx was in Dreamgirls with Jennifer Hudson.
Jennifer Hudson was in a movie with an actor.
Mhm.
Just can't name either one of those things.
There was a recent one.
Why'd I
There's a
present
very
this
recent
to you?
one.
You got
Okay,
it.
I don't. You guys obviously don't watch Take 3. I don't watch recent films. I only go to the theaters for Fathom re-releases of old
It's like,
movies.
I don't know that you would have need to have watched this one to have known she was in it.
I don't know what was it.
Cats.
Cats.
Yeah, I avoided the marketing for the film. So
God bless her.
Yep. All right, fuck this
Which
game.
means-
And fuck you, Malcolm, for making us play it again.
We love you. We love you.
Which means
See how I took myself out of it early.
Yeah, you,
Anyway, I'm not.
I
I'm not
can't
playing.
because I have to explain the rules. Even though some people who've been on the show several times and work for this network they don't listen still.
which means Maddie gets start fresh.
What? I can't hear anything. It's like I'm not listening. All right.
Billy knew it.
Let me see.
Why do you know that?
What other Parks and Rec character can I pick out?
Oh my
Let's go with Aubrey
Okay.
Plaza in Ingrid Goes West with what's his name? What's Ice Cube's son's name? I'm completely forgetting what his name is. Oh well, I'll go with Elizabeth Olsen. I can't think of his name.
Elizabeth Olsen was in Avengers Endgame with Chris Pratt.
Yeah.
Okay. Chris Pratt was in Moneyball
Oh, shit.
with who to go with here? Gosh, everybody's big in that movie.
Mm-hmm.
We'll go Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Also, it's O'Shea Jackson Jr. That's who I couldn't think of. Philip
O'Shea.
Seymour Hoffman. O'Shea Jackson. Thank you.
Yeah.
So
Slow down.
this is why I'm not on that.
You're that
so
funny, Nat? You see what you're missing out on?
there you go. Now Philip Seymour Hoffman, The Master with Joaquin Phoenix.
Okay, that just reminds me, by the way, because I was thinking about Mission Impossible 3. We did not talk about Tom Cruise is doing a goddamn movie in space. People.
You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
That is
Just saying.
crazy.
Just wanted to remind everyone about that. It's going to be incredible. And it might be how Tom Cruise dies, which is the way he needs to go out.
That's the way Tom Cruise should die.
It's, yeah.
Joaquin Phoenix was in Joker with Zazie Beetz.
Ooh. Let's see. I know that one. Let's see. Damn. Why can't I think of anybody small in that movie?
Yeah.
All right, Zazie Beetz is in Deadpool 2 with Ryan Reynolds.
All right. Ryan Reynolds is in. What should I go with? Ryan Reynolds was in. Let's just do quick fire. Why not? It's the first one's popping in my head, and Lord knows why. He was in The Proposal with Sandra Bullock.
Oh my god, I was thinking about the same movie.
I don't know why that was the one in my head. Lord knows why.
Sandra Bullock was in many things.
That is not incorrect.
The one time I played this, I knocked James out on a Sandra Bullock.
I thought when Malcolm said many things, I thought he was saying Minions. I was like, that's hilarious. Can you name another actor in that?
I thought that's what he was going to say too.
Sandra Bullock was in. There I'll go the safe choice. Speed with Keanu Reeves.
Classic.
Best choice. Well, second best.
Keanu Reeves is in John Wick with Ian McShane.
Whoa.
Ooh. Ian McShane. Was she in that first one? Oh, shoot. No. Shoot. I could think Deadwood with Ian McShane.
Yeah.
Ian McShane was in Kung Fu Panda with what's it obscure? No, everyone's big in that one. Oh well. With David Cross.
Was she in the second one?
Yeah, I was about to say that. Was Ed McShane in the first Kung Fu Panda?
Yes.
Yes.
No, because I was more asking that because then you could have done Jean-Claude Van Damme and try to name a movie he's been in with other
He's in
actors.
Jean-Claude's in the second one.
Yeah,
He's Tai Lung in the.
What I'm saying. You could have won the game there, man.
I could have, but he died
No,
in the
you
first
couldn't
one.
have.
Spoiler alert.
What do you mean?
No,
Well,
you go
there is
Jean-Claude
one.
Van Damme to Dennis Rodman, and then game over.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Double team.
Oh, well,
Yeah,
that's
because
an
who
execution
was
right
he
there.
with in Simon Says? Well, he was also in Expendables 2, which we all know.
Yeah.
Expendables trilogy is the greatest trilogy of all time. We all know that. Or my
Those
roommate
movies.
says that. My roommate says that.
I don't know if this is
Shut
right.
up, Vinny.
But David Cross was in Anchorman with David Koechner. I don't know if he was in Anchorman.
I don't think he was, but hold on.
Let's
It's
fact
really
check.
sad that there's only one film series that I thought of David Cross at first when he's.
Is
named
it the one
Cross.
same one? Probably the same one I'm thinking of too.
Probably is.
Yeah, it's not
Such
the
a good
greatest.
comedian, and yet those fucking chipmunks or whatever.
Yeah, he's not in Anchorman.
Ba-dum.
Like, why can you mention the chipmunks earlier, man? Damn it.
We didn't want to.
Why would I give you a freebie? Why would I do that?
Which means James starts fresh.
Oh, watch out, Manny. He might be like, Olivia Newton-John was in this movie with this random actor who was
God,
only
man.
in one film. Enjoy.
I also did that to him.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of how you're supposed to win the game.
Oh,
but,
no, yeah. I expect him to do that. And it's like, well,
fun.
Yeah, Michael J. Fox was in Back to the Future with Crispin Glover. He's been in movies.
he has been in movies. That is,
I like
that
the
is
hand
very...
gestures. Thank you, Price is
He's
Right
like,
model.
you can do this. It's okay. Crispin Glover.
I've
Let's go
got
with-
one already. I've got one
Oh,
already.
yeah, I'm just gonna go with I don't know, it's the one that's popping into my head, the first one. So Alice in Wonderland, Crispin Glover's in Alice in Wonderland with Timothy Spall.
I was thinking of Hot Tub Time Machine. Anyone else?
Nope.
No, I was also thinking Alice in Wonderland because I watched that Garbage Fire the other night.
Mm-hmm. Why?
Timothy Spall.
Oh, he is in it.
What?
I didn't realise that Crispin Glover was in Alice in Wonderland.
He's the knave of hearts.
Why do you remember that?
I mean, the first one I thought of was Charlie's Angels.
Oh, I watched that
not-
too many times in theaters.
I'm not going to be a real asshole that I could do with a Harry Potter thing. But no, I'll give you somebody that's been in other stuff. So
Why is James being
Timothy-
only nice
I'm curious
to
about what
Manny?
you were gonna say. Is the
Every
question.
time I've ever played this
Oh no, I
game
mean
with
you
James,
could throw like Rupert Grint, and good luck trying to name a Rupert Grint movie or some of these other people that are not in anything. So I'll do Timothy Spall was in Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. I mean in Prisoner of Azkaban with David Thewlis.
Say that one more time. I missed that last little bit.
David Thewlis.
David Thewlis. Okay.
it's the Viosa, not the Viosa.
Yeah, saw. See, this is really sad. I know I've seen David Thewlis in a lot of stuff, but the worst things coming to my mind right now is David Thewlis was in Wonder Woman with Robin Wright.
He's great in that movie. It's just the
No, but
CGI
like
at the end
he's
is
done
kinda weird.
so much other stuff that I can't think of the top of my head. And I don't know why. It's like that's the one that's coming to me. And he's not. He's more than just that. I don't know why I'm blanking on everything else he's done.
I like how man got real passionate. No, he's more than that. He's more.
He's more than
He's
just
Wonder Woman.
a blockbuster.
Do I go for the knockout?
Please, no.
Yeah,
Robin
be
Wright was
within
in
your
The Princess
character.
Bride with Andre the Giant.
Yeah, no, that's a knockout. Was he actually? He's been in other stuff, I'm guessing, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I think so, but I can't name a single thing.
Okay, good, because neither can I. So if that case, I forfeit. Because I'm gonna try to butcher something.
Let me see. What else has
You could have said that he was in Trading Mom with Sissy Spacek.
Oh, yes.
Apparently.
That's classic.
Good for him.
Literally, most of his IMDb is just WWC, WCW, WWF, or WWE.
I mean, whether or not you want to count uncredited roles, he had an uncredited role in Conan the Destroyer.
Oh,
yes, he did. Yes, that's right. That's right.
I would know that. Yes.
But we're gonna do another quick round because why not?
Yeah, let's have some fun.
I'm gonna start off this time. I'm gonna go to James. Manning, then Matt. And I'm going to go back to the starting off Parks and Rec. Nick Offerman was in The Founder with John Carroll Lynch.
Oh,
Ooh.
that's a good one. Wow.
Oh God.
Oh,
He plays so many little parts, and I can't think of any other movies that he's been in. I'm just coming to TV shows.
quick 5 count 1.
Let's say we need to implement that to make this go faster.
We
John
normally
Carroll Lynch.
do.
Oh,
5, 4, 3, 2.
you really give me a 5 count?
Yeah,
Should we-
you
here.
will.
Okay, that's fine.
All right, let's start.
James is like, really? That's how it ends?
No, I said I've got my 5 count. I'm done.
Oh, no, Manning was doing another one, but
Oh, sorry. You got
You
extra
have
time.
a 10 count, actually, James.
Well, I wasn't thinking about
I did the impossible. Took out James,
Wow.
Good, yeah, just blanked on him.
which
That's
means
the first thing I think of is The Founder.
which means Manning gets to start fresh.
I'm
I remembered one.
I'm going to see what happens. I'm going to try this again.
God damn.
You
You just dab on me?
wait, what?
You went like, no, I'm going to try this other one.
Oh, no. That was unintentional. I, for one, do not participate in the dabbing. No, sir. That is not for me. That's not my demographic. Let's see. So stupid. Let's see. What do I want to go for? Jake Gyllenhaal was in Zodiac with John Carroll Lynch. Wait,
John Carroll Lynch.
Yeah.
Who the
That's the one I thought of just a second ago.
fuck is John Carroll Lynch? Was he the one from The Founder?
if you saw his face, you'd know who he was.
You
You'd be
would
like,
know
oh
who he
yeah.
Oh, that's real fucking helpful when I can't look at his face, Manning.
I'm sorry.
I'm out, obviously.
What did you say?
What?
What did you say in that one? You say John Carroll Lynch again?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wanted to see what would happen. That's the only one. That's the only one I can think of too.
Oh,
So I just wanted that one.
you wanted to see what would happen? Hmm.
Yeah.
I
So I wanted to
mean-
see what would happen.
When you guys did the 5 count, all I could think of was the Drew Carey show, the Drew Carey show, the Drew Carey show. I'm like, get out of my head.
I mean, technically, because that was a new round, Mac, you could have used The Founder again.
No, that's mean. No,
That would have
I'm
been
not gonna do
cheating.
that.
That would have been cheating. I'm more abstaining than that.
Hmm.
He's
mean,
stupid.
I want to see how long you can keep going though with just doing him.
Oh well, we're done. That's it. we're What else has he been
Okay,
in?
who is
He's
Oh,
been
no.
in a lot.
Aha! I did. There's
John-
another one. There's another one.
There's
that
a
I
lot
had.
on here.
Yeah, he's been in a lot of things. Just
Yeah,
like really
I'm
small
looking him
roles.
up.
Yep.
Oh,
Just gonna-
really?
Where have I seen his face in movies before? Is the big thing.
Interesting. Yeah, you know what the worst part is? You know where I think of him the most when I saw his face? He's the banker in Catch That Kid.
Yes,
He
he
wants to be an
is.
actor.
That's what I
He
was
wants to be
thinking
an
of
actor.
too.
Which means it's that me and Manning, which
Yes.
means I get start fresh.
Ooh, look at his
Duh.
smile. That competitive
I just saw
smile.
one that I should have gotten right away.
Oh, he's also in Fargo. That's right.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking. of.
I mean, I've
Um,
never seen that movie, so
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
but I still know that.
Temuera Morrison was in Once Were Warriors with Rena Owen.
Oh, come on!
Oh, you.
I was about to say, to be Morrison, I know. I can guess it. No. Well, did Malcolm just win?
Yeah.
Apparently, I did. When I tell you one of the roles, you're going to kick yourself.
Okay. Well. Hold on. Yeah. Okay. What is it? I genuinely don't know.
Oh.
Just dab on a man and use the power.
Dab on the haters. Hey, kids.
Yeah, we keep flossing.
Do you concede, Manning?
No, I don't. Okay, repeat
Oh, but he
that
doesn't
one
get
more.
a 5 count.
Repeat it one more time and give repeat it one more time and then give
Hey,
me the 5
James,
count.
we like
Yeah.
Manning, so we don't give him a 5 count.
Temuera Morrison was in Once Were Warriors with Rena Owen.
Rena Owen.
5, 4,
Rena.
3,
Yep.
2,
Nope.
1.
I'm blanking.
She was the voice of Tan Ri in Attack of the Clones.
Really?
Oh, that's hilarious.
She was. I looked it up to make sure she was in some
Zero
stuff.
clue.
To make sure she was in some stuff that was in America, and
I
she
would
was.
love if you would have been like Tamara Morris was in Attack of the Clones with another Tamara Morris, because there's like hundreds of them.
Same one.
But yeah, it does bring us to the end of
Well,
the show. But we had fun and everything,
we?
and we did. But Teresa, where can people find you online?
You can find me. I'm mostly on Twitter, so my handle there is at Gertie the Dino, and I, along with Parks and Rec, my other big thing I love to talk about is Disney parks. So I am a co-host of the No Guilt Disney podcast. So those are the two places you can pretty much find me.
And Manning, where can people find you online?
you can find me on Twitter at Cine_man. That's CINE_MANN. Hey, you can see it in the little
There you go.
right
Yeah.
there. There you go. And also, you can find me here on Take 3 hosting Gone with the Wind. No Gone with the Wind episode this week. However, tomorrow we are recording to release Sunday a retrospective of Star Wars: The Clone Wars. We got a great panel lined up for you guys, and we will be quickly kind of talking about what it means for us, kind of like, as people who grew up with it and how it's evolved and shaped us and shaped the sphere of Star Wars when we had no Star Wars for the longest time. So I look forward to seeing you guys for there. Look for it on Sunday.
Matt, where can people find you online?
You guys, as always, can find me at Kearns_Matthew on Twitter, MattMovies611 on YouTube and WordPress, and right here as host of Second Look, which if you guys did not watch my my live stream last week, Superman unofficial Superman trilogy episode is being shelved. It just computer problems and timing. I just didn't want to take it away from putting Second Look off. So that episode will come at a later date. Rocky 3, which was the original episode, will hopefully be coming at the end of this month. And if not, early next month. And you can also find me. I will be on the Clone Wars retrospective, and I'm also always around late night. I don't think since late night has come back. I'm trying to think if there's been a week when I haven't been on. I'm trying to think. So I'm always around here because I need to be on here to not pimp out my Twitter handle.
Is eternal.
But James, where can people find you online?
Yeah, you can find me mostly on Twitter. I'm also on Instagram at Gator24, G4TOR24 that you see there. Also the newest member of the Den in the Schmodown. So hopefully getting some new matches coming up here soon before the season is over. Hopefully this COVID situation clears itself up and we can get back into the studios. But I'm excited to be part of a new faction over there. So, root us on. Let's go.
And you can find me hosting late night every week. I haven't quite decided what I'll do next week. Maybe I'll decide to go to Brooklyn. Maybe not. But I
don't understand the reference. Do you mean Brooklyn the person or the place?
I think Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Nine-Nine.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Okay. I was like, are we going to do a musical one? Like,
but
hint.
Okay.
But you can also find me hosting Rankum, where everyone's dreams gets quickly shattered a lot of times on that as well. And this week's topic is going to be a big one. It's going to be comedy movies of the 2000s, and there's a lot. And you can find me. There is especially in the 2000s, there's a lot of good comedies.
There's like 9 years worth of movies, Malcolm.
And you can also find me trying to convince Kristen to maybe do a summit this week, because apparently there's a lot of stuff happening that we need to talk about.
Just speaking
really? Has there?
Trying to get Kristen to do a show, maybe won't work. Maybe won't.
We'll find out if she sees this.
Whatever. Thanks for abandoning me again, Mom.
But yeah, and that's the show, and I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm doing it really well.
I believe the real ending is 90% of the time